What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Oh yeah, this one. So at this point in time, there was some optimism towards a relaunch of ECW. This was after the rise and fall of ECW becoming the best-selling DVD in WWE history, and after One Night Stand 2005 did 268,000 buys. For some reason, Vince saw the potential in a relaunch. By May of 2006, ECW was back. Well, sorta. Since it had WWE's fingerprint on it, it clearly wasn't going to be the same. This wasn't the first time rumors circulated that ECW was back, because in early 2004, there were some reports saying that ECW might replace WWE Confidential. Do I believe this? Well, it seems far-fetched, but I just wanted to mention it. If this is true, they wanted the show to have a completely different feel to Raw and SmackDown. From the time slot, which was 11 p.m. on a Saturday, to the wrestling, hardcore style. But that never came to fruition. Then a source reported on the Ottawa Sun back in August of 2005 that WWE was bringing ECW back after WrestleMania 22. He wasn't wrong about that one, and then there was loads of reports in April of 2006, and it was all but confirmed. All WWE had to do was announce it, and they did just that a few weeks later, and after scouring for a potential channel to broadcast the show, they signed a deal with the Sci-Fi Channel, which was pretty random. The new ECW in itself was a blend of old/new talent, but the problem was Heyman and Vince didn't share the same philosophies, That's a whole other story. Actually, this video, but here I want to talk about the first show that occurred on June 13th, 2006. The main stories are RVD talking about his WWE title victory, Kurt Angle debuted, and Kelly danced. Okay, let the bodies play as the fans loudly chant ECW, and out comes Paul Heyman. He was out here to introduce the new WWE champion, Rob Van Dam. At this point in time, the man was on top of the world. There was only one other point in his career where he was more over than he was in 2006, and that was in 2001/2002. He finally won the one title that evaded him in WWE. He was flying high, no pun intended. He thanked Paul E and the fans, and for some reason, a few fans were booing. I'll get into that later, but with that said, Van Dam hoped John Cena comes in and helps them celebrate tonight. Heyman then presented something that Van Dam never held, that being the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. You see, Van Dam never got the chance to win the title. By the time they were steering him in that direction, ECW went out of business. He said that there's no greater honor than holding that title, and after the promise of rechristening the WWE title, he decided to do the opposite. Not christen it. He wanted to keep the belt. He liked it because it spins. All of a sudden, you think he plays, and it's Edge and Lita. Heyman announced him as the #1 contender to the gold at Vengeance, and I should note that Edge was on ECW's good side for his actions during the main event. He said that despite his animosity towards the brand, the company, the business, whatever you want to call it, he respects Rob. Edge shared similarities with Van Dam. They won Money in the Bank. They broke through the glass ceiling because of their ability, and he straight up told them that it's going to be an honor to tear the house down with him at Vengeance. They shook hands. Commentary team praises Edge when he decides to spear RVD. Fans boo, they walk through the crowd, and all of a sudden a familiar face shows up and Edge bumps into him. His reaction was like, I hope it's not him, and John Cena had this big ass smile on his face. He's laughing his ass off, and when Edge turns around, he catches him with several strikes and tosses him to the ringside area, whoops his ass there when Van Dam decides to get involved. Once again, Edge managed to turn things around and bolt, and then to top it all off, Cena blasted Heyman before running after Edge, and it was pure chaos to start off the new ECW. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's the New Breed Unleashed. And after the commercial break, Paul Heyman's complaining to his guys over what went down, and then he decides to bring ECW to Raw later that week. In the arena, a damn zombie emerged from out of nowhere, and some people pinned this moment as the moment they knew WWE ECW was going to go well. Apparently, Sci-Fi demanded they feature this gimmick because that's what the channel specialized in, science fiction. But to fans, it was everything that ECW wasn't about, the original one. They hated this moment, and to this very day, you talk about WWE ECW, this is one of the first things people think about. He walks into the ring, screams zombie stuff, and the Sandman comes out. At this point, I was laughing hysterically over how stupid this was.
What the hell is this guy about? This is laughable.
Like I said, it's not a very good moment. Sci-Fi wanted them to do something in relation to the channel, and the poor zombie took a hellacious kendo stick beating and lost with ease. So the first WWE ECW match was in the history books. People beforehand probably thought it'd be some extreme tag team match featuring Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. Boy, were they wrong. That wasn't such a good look for the new ECW to have a zombie. I mean, Sci-Fi was the one who told them to do something, but it just wasn't a good thing. Then again, some people actually say that this was a parody of WWE. They're trying to show that ECW wasn't all about those gimmicks or whatever. I don't know if it was that. I personally don't believe that's the case, but if it is, that's kind of cool. In other places, Kelly introduced herself as an exhibitionist and said that she's taking off all her clothes for the fans tonight, and they cheered. Back to some serious business. Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine, was ready to make his ECW in-ring debut. It's crazy to think that this was the same guy who rejected ECW in '96 yet 8 years later was featuring on the same show. Well, not the same show, but you know what I mean. His opponent was a former ECW champion, just incredible. Angle quickly went for the double-A takedown, cross-faced him, and Angle was uber aggressive. He was tossing Credible out like trash and completely in control. He was no nonsense, pure wrestling. Credible was getting frustrated with what's up and decided to shove Kurt, who responded with a headbutt before going for a rear naked choke, which was apparently legal in ECW. Whoa. After the match, Angle grabbed the mic and told Randy Orton that he's going to do the same exact thing to him that he did to him 2 nights earlier. That being, he's going to make him tap. I could go on and on and on and on and on about this Kurt Angle, this iteration of his. He had yet to reach his final form. He was excellent, was superb, and he was just taken away so early on. I think it's a shame. Paul Heyman in the back wanted to show everyone extreme. So he booked a 10-man extreme battle royal. Every weapon was legal, and the winner gets to face John Cena at Vengeance. The commentary team was completely excited for this match, and Miss Kelly was getting the biggest reaction of the show, despite this being her first night. And if you thought the zombie was crazy, well, you haven't seen the vampire. Actually, that's kind of cool. I take that back. Okay, we don't know how to call Kelly's dancing, but we'll try. They played this budget Mariah Carey music. She stripped off her clothes, and I guess this was to show that ECW was different from WWE. You know, they just go a step further than them or something. I don't know. Basically, it's just to show that ECW was way more edgier than whatever WWE was doing at the time, even though WWE was sort of edgy at this point. And it was time for the main event. Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, Roadkill, Al Snow, Lil Guido, Tony Mamaluke, Big Guido, Danny Doring, Balls Mahoney, and the Big Show. A very angry Big Show featured in this match. Then again, I'd be angry that I was relegated to WWE ECW. Already the match was chaotic. After the commercial break, Tommy Dreamer decides to whack Big Show but gets his ass beat. Al Snow and Mama Luke were blasting each other with cookie sheets. Taz was once again shilling the new ECW, which was very stressful, I believe. The poor guy along with Joey Styles, they deserved a raise. The guys decided to jump the Big Show and it was working initially, but it ended up going about as well as the WWE ECW brand. Doring, Snow, Stevie Richards, Roadkill, they were all thrown out. And at one point, Big Show couldn't hit that ragdoll move on Mahoney, so he just slammed him on a chair, I believe, and threw him out. Sabu was almost eliminated. Dreamer was putting in a gutsy effort to eliminate Big Show, but he got tossed through a table. Mama Luke and Little Guido failed miserably. Then Big Guido followed suit, and he was so bitter that he tried pulling Big Show out. This ended up working for the best for Sabu, who drop-kicked Show with a chair to punch his ticket to Vengeance, where he would get his ass kicked by John Cena. And it was far away the best match on the show. That's not saying much. For one, it actually lasted longer than the other matches. You know, the other matches probably didn't last more than a minute. Other than that, it was messy, cool spots throughout the match. Yeah, it wasn't the best match, but like I said, it was my favorite from the night. Obviously, it wasn't my favorite moment of the show. That award goes to the opening segment, because the amount of star power there and the chaos that unfolded. Overall, the show lacked much of what made the original ECW special. For one, the crowd, the WWE crowd booed Rob Van Dam. You know, they didn't really care about the originals as well. And it's not their problem. These people were there to watch SmackDown. Also, for a first episode, this was pretty unspectacular. Like, damn. When you hype up the show for a month and a half, aren't you like gonna go all out or something to make the show in itself seem must watch? That wasn't the case here. It just didn't have that feeling to it, and there wasn't really anything outstanding. It was pretty unspectacular, and even the first episode of Heat had more excitement to it than this. Like, that's what's supposed to be ECW, right? And some people to this very day say that they stopped watching WWE ECW on the first episode. Like, that's how bad it was. Yeah, that's the show. It did a 2.7 rating, I believe, which was not bad. That was actually decent. It was probably as good as SmackDown's, so there was some interest from some fans, but they slowly started leaving. So yeah. What do you guys think of the first episode of ECW? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a spear on the like button and perhaps the angle slam on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.